Imagine a California without the famous Golden Arches. That's right, McDonald's, known for its burgers and fries, might leave California forever. Here's a startling fact to kick things off. McDonald's operates over 1,300 locations in California, contributing nearly 2% to the state's GDP. A new law has increased the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 an hour, making it one of the highest in the nation. While this seems like great news for workers, it could have serious consequences. This wage hike could increase operating costs by up to 15%, making it tough for McDonald's to stay. Today, we're diving deep into this issue. We'll look at how the new wage law affects businesses and what it could mean for workers and customers. From rising menu prices to potential job cuts, the impact could be huge. Join us as we explore the economic changes shaking up California and what they might mean for the future of fast food there. From the specifics of the new wage law and how it's transforming the fast food landscape, to McDonald's tough choices grappling with soaring costs and contemplating an exit strategy from California. We'll also touch on the broader economic impacts, the political backlash, and what this means for the future of fast food in the state. The new California wage law and its impact. Have you ever wondered what happens when a state decides to drastically raise the minimum wage? Well, California is showing us in real time, and the results are turning heads. In April this year, California implemented Assembly Bill 1-1228, a game-changing piece of legislation that increased the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 an hour. This law aims to boost the earnings of thousands of workers, making it one of the highest statewide minimum wages in the country. But as much as this is a win for workers, it's a huge challenge for fast food chains, especially McDonald's, which operates on razor-thin profit margins. The immediate effects? Well, they're dramatic. Within weeks of the wage increase, operational costs for these restaurants soared. McDonald's, known for its affordability, is now grappling with a significant hike in expenses. To put numbers into perspective, since the law took effect, there's been a reported 30% jump in labor costs for many chains. This isn't just pocket change. It's a major issue that affects pricing, staffing, and even the availability of services. For a business model reliant on high-volume sales and low-cost labor, this kind of increase is not just a hurdle, it's a mountain. And it's not just McDonald's feeling the heat. Across the board, fast food joints are struggling to adjust. Some have raised their menu prices by up to 40%, and others are cutting back on staff hours or even considering closing locations to keep their heads above water. The irony is thick. A law meant to help workers could potentially lead to fewer jobs and higher consumer prices. So what does this all mean for the average Joe just wanting a quick and affordable meal? And what could it mean for the economic landscape of California if major players like McDonald's start closing their doors? Could you stomach a $20 Big Mac? McDonald's response and considerations. Did you know that for every 10% increase in wages, fast food restaurants need to see at least a 5% rise in customer traffic or equivalent cost-cutting elsewhere to maintain profitability? With a wage increase as substantial as what has been legislated, McDonald's might need to dramatically increase their customer base or significantly alter their business operations. Furthermore, in areas with wage increases similar to California's, fast food chains experienced a 20% increase in operational costs overall, which includes not just wages, but also the costs associated with adjusting business models like improving automation and training for enhanced productivity. To add another dimension, McDonald's has seen a 15% rise in customer complaints in California, primarily due to increased menu prices and slower service times as restaurants adjust to new cost structures. This consumer response could further complicate McDonald's ability to adapt smoothly to wage changes without losing customer loyalty. With the financial strain becoming increasingly apparent, McDonald's is forced to consider raising menu prices or cutting down on staff hours, both of which could degrade service quality and customer satisfaction. The impact extends beyond the company itself, posing a threat to employment and potentially leading to a significant reduction in the availability of affordable fast food options. Broader economic implications. Did you know that in just the past year, menu prices at fast food restaurants in California have surged by up to 40%? The wage hike to $20 an hour for fast food workers in California was intended to elevate living standards. But the fallout? a steep climb in operational costs, leading to drastically higher menu prices, some as much as 40% higher than last year. This isn't just about paying more for a burger, it's a shift that could ripple through the entire economy. When we compare these numbers to states like Texas or Florida, where minimum wages have stayed steady, the contrast is stark. In these states, fast food prices have remained relatively stable, avoiding the sharp spikes seen in California. This difference highlights a crucial economic experiment. Can higher wages justify higher consumer costs without harming the broader economic landscape? Experts are watching closely. Some argue that while the immediate impact might pinch, the long-term effects could be beneficial. They suggest that higher wages could lead to increased consumer spending power and lower employee turnover, which can save businesses money in the long run. However, others warn that the surge in prices may reduce overall consumer spending in the sector, potentially leading to job cuts and even business closures. As California navigates these uncharted waters, the question looms, will the state's bold wage initiative spark economic innovation or a cautionary tale for others? What's your take? How would a similar wage increase affect your spending habits or job opportunities in your state or your business? The political and social backlash. Did you know that a staggering $24 billion in tax dollars have mysteriously vanished in California, leaving citizens outraged and demanding answers? In the midst of economic issues caused by the new $20 minimum wage law, California is also struggling with a massive financial scandal. Governor Gavin Newsom is at the center of the controversy, facing intense scrutiny over the state's handling of public funds. This isn't just about a missing few million. We're talking about billions of dollars intended for battling homelessness and other social programs now unaccounted for. The public reaction has been swift and severe. Citizens and advocacy groups are demanding transparency and accountability, while critics argue that such fiscal mismanagement undermines trust in state governance. This backlash isn't limited to fiscal concerns. It also ties directly to the new wage law. Many see the wage increase as a well-intentioned move that's been poorly implemented, exacerbating the financial strain on businesses like McDonald's, which are now considering drastic measures like leaving the state. Governor Newsom has tried to address these issues head-on, proposing new audits and oversight measures. However, his critics are skeptical. They point out that the promises of oversight come too late for the millions affected by the wage law and the businesses struggling to cope with its consequences. The political fallout is significant, with potential implications for upcoming elections. Both supporters and detractors are using the situation to rally their bases, painting very different pictures of California's economic future. As the state teeters on the edge of economic and political uncertainty, the big question remains: how will California navigate these troubled waters? Will the backlash prompt a re-evaluation of the wage law? And can trust in the state government be restored amidst these financial scandals? Please take 2 seconds to help me out and hit the like and subscribe if you find this video interesting so far. Each like and subscribe helps support this channel and keeps us motivated to keep making you great content. Thank you. Now, back to what I was saying. Long-term projections and industry adaptations. Ever wondered what the future holds for fast food in California amidst soaring wages and tightening regulations? The new $20 minimum wage has already sent shockwaves through the fast food industry in California, causing some giants like McDonald's to reconsider their operations in the state. But what does the future hold? Industry experts predict a significant shift towards automation. Picture this: more self-service kiosks and fewer human cashiers. Other fast food chains are already adapting in innovative ways. For instance, Burger King and Taco Bell are exploring more efficient, technology-driven service models to counteract rising labor costs. They're investing in AI and robotics to streamline operations, a trend that might become the norm rather than the exception. However, it's not all about tech. There's also a push for legislative revisions. Industry lobbyists are working tirelessly to introduce amendments that could provide exemptions or gradual implementation of wage increases. These changes aim to give businesses more time to adjust without sacrificing jobs or hiking prices drastically. As we look towards the future, it's clear that the fast food industry in California is at a crossroads. Will these adaptations and potential legislative tweaks be enough to keep your favorite burger joints in business? The outcome will likely set a precedent for other states watching California's experiment with keen interest. Consumer behavior and market trends. Can you believe that over the last year, nearly 30% of Californians have changed their dining habits due to rising fast food prices? As the minimum wage in California soared to $20 an hour, the ripple effects were immediate. Fast food chains, once the go-to for quick and affordable meals, saw their prices jump significantly. For instance, a typical meal at McDonald's that used to cost around $5 now hovers close to $8. This 60% increase is prompting consumers to rethink their dining choices. According to a recent consumer report, 32% of Californians have reduced their frequency of visits to fast food restaurants in the past 12 months. The impact is more pronounced among low-income families, where 45% have cut back on eating out altogether, opting instead for home-cooked meals to stretch their budgets further. This shift is supported by another startling statistic. Grocery sales in California have seen an uptick of 20% this year, as more families choose to buy raw ingredients and cook at home. Health trends are also reshaping the fast food landscape. With California being a hotspot for health and wellness trends, a significant shift toward healthier eating options is evident. A statewide survey indicated that 45% of consumers now consider nutritional content as a crucial factor in their dining decisions, compared to just 25% 2 years ago. In response, fast food chains are rapidly adjusting their menus. For example, the introduction of plant-based burgers and salads has increased by over 50% across major fast food outlets in the state in an attempt to capture this health-conscious market. Moreover, there's a growing demand for customization. A recent market analysis highlighted that 70% of fast food orders among millennials and Gen Z in California now involve some form of customization, driven by dietary restrictions or preferences. This trend is facilitated by digital platforms, with mobile app orders in the fast food sector increasing by 40% over the past year, allowing consumers more control over what they eat and how much they spend. Additionally, the surge in food delivery services is reshaping consumer habits. Data from a delivery service report shows that there's been a 35% increase in the number of meals delivered from fast food restaurants to workplaces or homes in California, suggesting that while consumers still enjoy the convenience of fast food, they're increasingly bypassing traditional dine-in experiences for home delivery. As we look toward the future, it's clear that the fast food industry in California is at a crossroads. With ongoing economic pressure and evolving consumer preferences, fast food chains must innovate to remain relevant. The question is, how will these businesses adapt to a market where affordability must balance with health and convenience? And what does this mean for the cultural fabric of food consumption in California? Impact on workers and employment. Did you know that despite the wage increase, over 5,000 fast food jobs have been cut in California in the last 6 months alone? The recent increase in minimum wage to $20 an hour in California was intended to boost the living standards of thousands of fast food workers. Sounds great on paper, right? But the reality is a bit more complicated. While some workers are enjoying bigger paychecks, the industry is facing a tough adjustment. According to recent labor market analysis, fast food establishments have reduced their workforce by approximately 10% statewide to counterbalance the increased wage costs. This reduction is not just a number, it's about real people, many of whom have relied on these jobs for their livelihoods. The impact extends beyond job cuts. Hours for remaining employees are also being slashed. Reports indicate that average weekly hours in the fast food sector have dropped by nearly 15%. This means that even workers who kept their jobs are taking home less pay than anticipated. For many, the promise of a higher wage per hour is offset by fewer hours on the schedule, which complicates their financial stability rather than improving it. In a recent survey conducted by a labor rights group, 60% of fast food employees in California expressed increased stress due to job insecurity and reduced hours. Moreover, 70% appreciated the higher wage but felt the trade-off with reduced hours and job cuts was not worth it. These workers shared that the unpredictability of their schedules made it difficult to plan their finances or balance other responsibilities like schooling or family care. On the flip side, there are positive notes as well. Some workers have reported that the increased wage has significantly improved their quality of life. They mentioned being able to afford better housing, invest in education, and even save a bit. About 30% of the workers surveyed said that despite the challenges, the increase in wages has empowered them to make long-term plans for themselves and their families, which was not feasible before. As we look at the broader employment trends in the sector, it's clear that the industry is at a tipping point. Fast food chains are increasingly turning to automation to reduce labor costs. Self-service kiosks and mobile ordering apps are becoming more prevalent, suggesting that the sector might lean even more heavily on technology if wages continue to rise. This complex scenario begs the question: is there a middle ground that can support both the workers and the profitability of fast food chains? What measures can be taken to ensure that wage increases benefit workers without leading to job losses? The industry, lawmakers, and labor groups need to come together to find sustainable solutions. Let's keep this conversation going. If you work in the fast food industry or know someone who does, how have these changes affected you? Share your stories in the comments below. Your insights are invaluable as we continue to unpack the impact of wage changes on the fast food job market. Thanks for watching, and please make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed the video and watch this one as well.